All right, good morning, traders. Could you hear me okay? Do a quick sound check. Loud and clear. Thank you, Bob. Megan. Awesome. Tim. Well, I just need to apologize. Our website is still having issues connecting with Zoom. Last week, we couldn't even get it to send traffic over. Zoom wasn't even recognizing the traffic that we were sending over to their system, and it looks like we're having the same issues this morning. So there's some sort of a connection issue between the website and Zoom, and so we're still trying to figure it out. But we're glad you're here. The second thing is we weren't able to throw that video. Our guest trader this morning was not able to make it, so left. You thought it was you, so we're left. We'll probably just do a trading session this morning. So, and then next week I'm out of town, but the following week we'll get back in the saddle and hopefully everything will be cleared up with Zoom by then, and we'll be able to rock and roll. So we're just going to do a little trading together this morning and see if we can figure out this market. Over the weekend, the dollar strengthened pretty significantly, so pretty good strengthening of the dollar. Just trying to find Alveo here. There we go. So pretty good strengthening of the dollar over the weekend, and so that has kind of carried through into this morning's trading. But we'll start out. Oh, Megan, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know what? I honestly, I feel like I am a better trader when I trade with you guys. So it's the same thing. You're around. You want to perform better. You want to do better. You see that you can do better, and so you do better. If that makes sense. So yeah, that's a really thank you for that, Megan. Really needed that this morning. All right, so here's that little bit of strengthening on the dollar, still in that choppy consolidation, which has just been, and it'll continue to be that way. So until we get clarity later this week with that Fed announcement. And then the narrative is going to change. So right now, all the eyes are on that Fed announcement, and everything, is focused on that. And then we've got the rest of September, October, and then the next Fed meeting is in November. So there's going to be another narrative that the market's going to focus on in between this week and as we get closer to that next Fed meeting. And so we'll try and identify what that narrative is, and so we can stay on top of it. It's just interesting how it just like picks and chooses these different things to focus on, and that's what's important at the time. And so you kind of have to be aware of and tuned in to what that market is, whatever the market is really focused in on. But right now, it's all about that Fed rate hike that we're expecting. Market was expecting a 0.5% increase. Today, we're at this moment, we're leaning more towards that 0.75% increase, which will be pretty significant move. And of course, the worry is that we're raising rates into and creating a recessionary situation for the economy and the global economy, in fact. Okay, so on the dollar chart, or on the hour chart, we got the pop, we got the strengthening of the dollar, we got the run up, and we've kind of like stuck right here in a little bit of a wedge. usually these wedges are continuation patterns, not necessarily reversal patterns, but the wedge doesn't really have a lead up to it, you see. And so if anything, there's no lead up into it, so there's nothing really to continue. And so whoever dominates, whichever side dominates, whichever side breaks, you're likely going to see a follow through in that direction. So just kind of keep that in mind on that hour chart, that we could see another run, a pretty significant run, whichever side this market wants to break. If it breaks to the high side, we'll likely see it trading up there at a minimum, but more likely it would be all the way back up in that area up in there. So another test of these highs. If it breaks to the downside, definitely trading down to this red line down here, if not these lows down over here. So that's kind of the backdrop on the hour chart. Not a lot of signals until we really break, and then we expect to see a little bit of that momentum pop into the market. Once that momentum hits, we'll want to make sure that we're trading in that direction. Okay, here we are on the 1 minute chart and the 5 minute chart. So we're down into the trading charts now. A lot of volatility, wicks, noticeable wicks on the top and pretty noticeable wicks on the bottom. So you know that there's a lot of back and forth going on. Not a lot of momentum and not a lot of conviction and follow through like you see during the running markets, but very choppy. And as you know, this hour seems to be notorious at giving, that transition from those choppy markets into the running markets. So we'll want to make sure that we're aware of that. Rallies up, fails to move higher, and then we're seeing this big sell-off right here in the market. Follow through, probably follow through. So let's see if we can get a squeeze a trade out. A little bit too much to ask for there. So wait for that to rally up just a little bit and then try and get your trade on. So a little bit of timing. You want those trades preferably inside the body lows over here, not the wick lows, but the body lows. So our first trade is a short coming off this little failed move higher. And we're not a good time right now to trade because it puts those targets a little bit too far below a perceived support area. So hold off just a little bit, see if you can time it just a little bit better. See, now these trades are getting into a good, they're coming in a good target zone. That's a bad one. So a little late to the punch there. And you can still feel that back and forth movement. Markets still don't want to drop lower. Building those tails on the bottom side now. They have been on the top. There's a little follow through. Okay, so now we don't want to, if you can, you want to get your targets above the body lows in that area right in here. So not quite there. Right there, maybe. No, not quite. Wait for it. Just wait for those up in that high right in there. Now we want to start to build a small position, get stronger if you can get your targets right up in there. That was a big pop. I didn't expect that. Now this is a little dicier. So when the market was trading below the 50% of this line, it was good for the shorts as it just, you see that, just that big pop right in the middle of that candle that pushed it up, that changed everything about the structure of this. And so what that did is it removed the bearish edge to that market. So when it popped up above the 50% of that candle, it kind of rejected the bearish play. And so now that puts in place the bullish play again. So we tried to pop up once here. Now it failed to move lower down here. So now what that's going to do is it's going to put the bull move back on the table. So don't build positions here. And if anything, if you get a chance, start to take some of those trades off. Take the loss. It's not a bad thing to take the loss. So right in here, just lighten up position. You don't want to be stuck on a big bullish breakout with a sizable position. So I'm going to take that that whole bottom leg out. And hopefully I can get that stack of trades to fire off. Now let's see if it starts to make that run to the high side. Just peeling off these lost trades right here. I'll make it up if we get in the next setup. So I've just got a couple more on that bottom stack right in there. Last one. So now all I've got is that stack. And then what I'll do is if this market does make a break to the high side, then I'm gonna put the shorts back on and try and catch that first retracement, unless we get like strong momentum building. There's that break. I'm going to try and catch a little scalp. The bigger that candle is, the more chance I want to get those targets in at 50%. So it's not quite big enough. So that candle's got to be at least 4 or 5 pips in order to make that little quick little scalp move. See if we can pull it off here. There, that's a good little income there. There we go. Now the question is, will we find support? We should see support come in right where we saw it, right in all of this resistance. We break it, should come back down, find some support there. So that's what it did on the first candle. Let's see about the second candle. Second candle is no good. And that, my friends, is an outside range right there. Trickiest trade ever. See if that can hold the body on above that line. So 27 seconds left. Buyers are going to have to step in and hold that. Otherwise it takes another, it takes that other breakout away. Oh my gosh, I just looked outside and there's this big 4-point buck, a 4-point deer running down the road. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Wow, you don't see that every day. Yeah, Tots is sick, Jeremy or Lee. We agree. We're getting rid of our hosting provider. They've just taken a huge huge step in the wrong direction. So that candle staved off the turn, so it rallied all the way back up and held right on that breaking point. So that's actually a bullish sign. So let's see what this candle does, if it makes the turn, or if we can stage another turn and another leg higher here. There's starting to get into that turn area. I'm going to put a couple of trades on. If I can get them above that white line, that's ideally. That's where I want those. So right in there. So now we'll put a little pressure on that price action. Still 43 seconds. So we should see another, we should see the bears step in and try and push that down. If they're going to do it. So see how they're pushing a little bit down that candle, pushing down. They need to get a little bit more aggressive. Right in there. Now, if they can hold that, then they've got the edge. If they can't, then the bulls got it. So this is an important moment in the market. Okay, so they kind of held it. It's right on the line. Now we've got the telltale. We've got the tail that's a break, and then the TELL candle. So still a little early for that break to happen. So there should be a little bit of pressure come in. 13 seconds left. Now this is looking a little stronger. It's building a little bit more strength, a little bit more justification for the bullish move. Higher lows coming up, and a close on the high, a close on the turn. So now we got a good stack in here, got a kind of a long shot move down here. And so not really a place where we can do much. The next real big question is, do we create a higher high? So this is like how market structure is formed. Is you've got a pivot high, you come down and test the break, then you come back up and test that pivot high. And so if it breaks that pivot high, then you've got another, your next move is up in here. Until you break that pivot high, you don't really have a move. There's not really a reason for you to be in the market. In between the turning point, which is right here, and the pivot high is not a good place to place any kind of trade. So either wait for it to get up to the pivot high, place the trades, or you wait for it to get up to the pivot high and break, and then you can place the trades. So either or, but as it sits right now, there's not really a good reason, structural reason, to get into this market. The other thing is that we're in the very, very, very first phase of the reversals. So if it does break that high, we don't want to be in the shorts. So we're going to be looking for ways to like peel out of that trade. And if we feel like this is going to turn into a trend, we want to figure out ways to pull out of those trades. So it failed to break and form a higher high up here. So now we're just going to stuck in a consolidation. So I will try and put some trades on and see if I can pick off a little bit of income inside a consolidation. But I've already got my position like right there. So I don't want to add to that unless we can form a higher high right in there. Get those targets way above that white line, as high above it as we can without breaking the top white line. Good place for a little stack there. And now let's see if it comes back down and tests the low. Holding in the top of that consolidation, a little wick, 22 seconds. So now's the danger zone for a break to the high side. So just be real careful in this area. If you're going to place a trade, don't get too wild and crazy because you run the risk of this breaking out just like that. Now I've got to let it run for a minute. And that technically that establishes the new highs. So now at this point, we have the definition, your standard definition of a trend forming. You got 1 point, a low point here. You've got a higher low point. You've got a high point and technically a higher high point. So by definition, this is now starting to trend. So now we've got to kind of shift into how do we can either shift out of these positions, or we can say, well, there's not much room. In this case, we can say there's not much room for this to run before we want to start to, before that market will start to turn back again. So either commit to working the trend and adjusting, doing the wobble technique and adjusting your basis higher and higher through this, or you close out of these trades and you start to go with the trend. My personal feeling is personally, I tend to work through these. There's a big candle that came out of nowhere. So we'll build into that position a little bit right in here, try and get those targets above the white line. So your next pivot low, should, if this trend is going to continue, your next pivot low should be just about in that white line area. So it comes back down just a little bit below. So you want to get all your targets in here. Um, we'll see if we can get. We're not getting any much follow through on the bull side, so it's kind of tricky. Kind of tricky to get those target stacks high enough. And then keep an eye on how many resistance points you have between where the market is right now and your targets down here. So we've got a resistance stack here, a resistance here. So we've got to break through 2 resistance to get that. So we're probably in a place where we need to start to fix these trades down here if we can. So I'm going to be looking for ways to mitigate my exposure on these trades down here. Welcome, Caddyshack. Sorry about the slow servers this morning. We're battling it. We've been battling it all morning, so. Just looking for that market to make a turn and possibly even break that little trend line. So I think that we'll get one more bounce out of this before the trend line breaks. So I'm not looking for that trend to really break at this point, because I do believe we'll get one more. We should get one more bounce out of this. There's not really a strong bull. The bulls aren't coming in super strong. You know what I mean? They're not. They don't have a lot of conviction behind them. So I just peeled off a couple of these bottom trades out, just used whatever I made in there to just peel off a couple of those outer trades. See if we get the bounce here. We should get a bounce back up into those highs. Then I'm going to put some trades on, a good stack of trades. So wait for that to bounce back up. Should be a bounce here. If it doesn't happen, then we may have to take a build trade and build a good stack of trades on any momentum to the downside. So we're going to try and squeeze out some profit between here and the bottom. But preferably it bounces up and we get a chance to get some better pricing structure. There. Now, really important, you get these trades in above the pivot low, above the pivot. Morning, Papa Dan. Welcome, welcome. Just feel everybody's pain with that website this morning. So right in here, I want to start to build that little stack of trades, but put that little stack of trades back on. And here's also where we should, or if we're going to get another leg higher on this little trend, if this trend is going to follow through, this is also where we'd expect that to start to form. I don't think it's going to, but I can be wrong. holding in that trend support right now, and support, old resistance support. So I did take a couple of hits or a couple of profit target hits. So I'm going to put those back on the highs. Now, this is where, again, this is where we expect that break to the upside if it's going to happen. So we're getting wedged in. We're getting wedged in. So that break should happen. It's if it's going to happen, it should happen right in here. If it doesn't, and what I believe is going to happen is it's going to break down, that also is going to happen here. We're getting pushed into the corner, and it's going to break that corner here, whichever direction. I'm leaning towards the downside, but now I'm going to take a little bit more risk here, and I'm going to build a little bit of a stronger position down in here, unless it does that. I didn't want to tail there. A tail's not a good sign for me. That's a rejection notice. So I'm gonna pause, pause in building it. I want to catch that momentum as it moves down and test this next support level. We've broken the trend, but we're still in consolidation. So it could still go either direction at this point. I was kind of getting in a little early, anticipating that break to happen. When that tail came on, I had to stop because that puts the consolidation back in play, which puts that next leg higher in play. Jan Stein, welcome. It's been one of those mornings. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel a little of these, as much of this target stack down. You guys are making me feel bad. I wish we could get that website just humming. We're working on it. We've been on with so we're not sure if it's like a connection with Zoom. When everybody's trying to log in and it's being redirected, everything's being redirected and into the Zoom world, but we are working on it. I'm not able to get those. What I'd be doing right here, if I could, is be pulling these down. Because there's enough tension built up in this market right now that a break to the downside, you can make way more money on this little stack of trades right in here. I'll circle it. You can make much more money on that little stack of trades than just the 2 pips. So if you take that little stack of trades, push them down to here, or even into this little area right in here, or even to the bottom of that, you should get a really good stack of a really good income on those trades right there. Market is going back up into the top end of that consolidation. And remember back here, I said that I gotta like stop putting those shorts on because the market, it rejected the down leg right there. That rejection is showing up in another move to the high side. So we'll put some trades on now. Get another stack on. But this stack is going to be above the white line. So Now let's see if we get follow through to the bull side here. There's that follow through starting to form. And my next major stack is going to be with targets above the white line. So we're just going to go through that process all over again. Now, it may seem you might be wondering, why don't you just get onto the long side? Well, the market's really not, it looks like it's going up, but it's really not strong to the upside. So we might as well try and make a little bit of money. So we might as well try and save the money that it's going to cost to transition, because we should see a little bit of a pullback at some point that's gonna at least get us back to break even, if not a little bit of profit. Okay, so now these trades, I've got to figure out ways to get those trades off the books. Mike, I'm so sorry. I just keep repeating this. Everybody's probably sick of it now. But again, Mike, I'm so sorry for the wait. And George, everybody. It's just, it's so frustrating. I don't know how frustrating it is. I just got some issues with our servers and connecting with Zoom and all the little back and forth that has to happen, and we're just overwhelming it. Okay, so we're pulling back a little stronger than we have in the past, so that's a good sign. So I have booked a little bit of profit. But look, I've got quite a big loss down here that I'm going to have to work out of. So I'm going to start to peel off again a little bit of that outside edge. If it comes back up into those highs, I'm going to build that stack back on. So it's getting a little bit more out of kilter. So nice organized price action down here, a little bit more choppy and a little bit more like sporadic in how it moves now. So that's also a sign of trends, starting to wear out a little bit. So so we'll see if the bears if they have enough to kind of move that market lower here. So we're at 3 candles. Another thing that you kind of want to look for in these little trends like this is how many legs you have. So you have a leg up, a leg down. That's 2, leg up, leg down. There's 3, 4, and the leg up is 5. So usually that 5 wave, up 1, down 2, up 3, down 4, up 5. That's usually also a pretty good indication of a little trend wearing out. So we definitely are looking for that market to start to wear out a little bit. And I'm looking for exhaustion. And then so that exhaustion comes in the form of these big sporadic moves. So if I start to see those sporadic moves, that's also a sign that that market's starting to wear out. Now, nothing is certain, obviously. I mean, we got to reiterate that all the time, but that's just a sign that things are starting to wear out a little bit. The thing about wearing out is that is one move. This is all part of one structured move. But when it wears out, you get the next structured move. And the next structured move can be any direction. It could be to the upside or it could be to the downside. So we'll look for a reset in here. And preferably, we'd like to see that market move to the downside. But there is that possibility. It could break out of all this area and make a leg higher. So you got to be careful of that as well. Right now, we're going to have to get clear down into this area. Just not enough volatility to there haven't had enough volatility to really shift my position size or my profit center up. So I have a little bit, but really the profit center is going to be somewhere clear down here. So that's a big move for that market. It's a lot to ask for that market because we haven't seen enough up and down movement, enough volatility. Artemio asked the question, what is it about the move that gives me that indication? So we had a big sell-off overnight, a rally back up, a sell-off, and a rally back up. So just that we're getting into that area where that resistance is going to start to influence it. Plus we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs into this. We're starting to feel a little bit of that wonky trading price action that you get during tops and bottoms. So there's just a lot of little tiny clues that kind of give me that indication. Nothing real certain at this point. John, that's an interesting question. Whether that interest rate hike is baked into parity or whether it's baked in above or below. That's a good question. I don't know that I can answer that. Still putting pressure on that bull side. So there's the run. I'm going to put a couple of a bigger stack in up here and catch and try and do a real good reset trade. So I'm going to go about twice lot size. So I'm going to build up pretty good chunk here. Right on the high, previous high. There's a general fear a strong dollar right now. So, you know, banks and institutions and everything is like really, really does not want to see a real strong dollar. So even though we're seeing it, even though we're seeing that dollar strengthen across the board, there's a lot of players that they're going to be fighting that. So these little pullbacks like this, these little runs back into a weaker dollar is kind of expected, but they're against the natural trend. So against the natural move of the market right now, especially, you know, in light of an interest rate hike. All right, a little strong move into the highs right in here. Way stronger move than I expected into those highs. So didn't stop at all coming into the high. So that now I might be in fix it zone here. These trends that start out really weak and then strengthen into the latter phases, they buck the trend. Usually you get your strongest moves are in the third legs, the third leg of trends. And usually the trend is over within about 5 legs. And so these trends like this are not as common as you would normally, they're not very common, but and so when they do happen, they can be pretty tough on your account. I'm going to try and capture a little bit of a quick pullback here. I should have listened to Artemio, huh? That's the thing, Artemio, is that it doesn't matter. Like, you're never going to be right all the time, and you're never going to be wrong all the time. And so you just play the process the way that you play it, and you don't worry about that kind of stuff. You're you gotta get into that routine and that process and just keep doing that process, and and it's the process that leads you to success at the end, not how good you forecast the market. But yeah, I was starting to see signs of this happening, starting to worry a little bit about it. But again, I'll just trade the way that I do. And I'm going to have to, I do need to start getting into, I need to get the market moving in my direction at some point, somehow, some way. But that move right there, that's a butt kicker. So I'm in fix it mode now. Sorry about that, Ed. So I am a little upside down. If I can get this little stack of trades right in here, which I should be able to do, unless momentum just like takes off, which is it could easily do. Momentum could take off here. Easy. But I'm going to gear up for a first retracement trade here. So, or first a test, sorry. I'm going to gear up for the test of the breakout with a big chunk of trades here. I'm going to use that money to peel off a lot of that down, those trades down there. Hopefully we don't get this running away from us. Coming into that little stack of trades. And I'm going to start to take the swallow the hard pill and start to take these trades off. So that's going to be a pain, but I'm going to really go through and reduce position size significantly here. And then if it comes back up into those highs, I'll be able to do that again. So this is where we really start to shift that you know, the only way out of a trade like this, the only way out of a trade is to keep trading, you know, or just close it all out and take the loss. But that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. See if we can get another leg lower here. Still pretty strong on this top side. I'm looking for any sign of this market moving into consolidation on that 5-minute chart. So It's okay as long as it doesn't make that another break to the high side. With the big candle, small candle's okay. That's starting to get too big. Still following momentum on that 5-minute chart. You want the green candles, Amanda? Oh, blue ones only. Yeah. So stick it out right in here. We should just looking for that market to slide back down into consolidation. Got a good stack of trades right in that consolidation. Justification, however, structure wise is not, I'm fighting against structure now. So 10-10 gave you a bullish bias. Huge bar at 10-10. Is that back a little? Oh, it's on the 5-minute chart. Yeah. Okay. You're talking this back in here. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the reversal for sure. And for the short time, yes, that's good. So with this, you got all the selling pressure. This candle, this break, structurally, it should it should do exactly what it did and break out, come back down, and then bounce back up. But then this candle should have picked up on this leg should have picked up on the selling pressure from overnight, if that makes sense. So we, typically speaking, when you've got this much selling pressure in the market, you get a retracement, you come down, you get the market to come back, you get a nice little retracement out of it, it comes down, and if it finds a leg higher, then it should be a lower low over in here. So low, lower low, and a lower low. That's if your bigger time frames are trending to the downside. The problem is that the bigger time frames aren't trending to the downside, they're actually trending sideways. And so in that case, because your bigger time frames are trending sideways, then this makes a little bit more sense that we would see this second leg. Not as strong as we're getting. This is overdone, in my opinion, but that's generally how I look at it. So, and it just keeps running and running and running. Just no volatility to help us out. Just occasionally here and there, but just really, really kind of struggling. So I will probably we'll probably trade here for, I know that it's top of the hour. Normally we should be, I'm going to continue trading for a bit here. But if you need to run, we'll post this back in the calendar. There's just no sign of this thing stopping at this point, so I'm gonna be here for a while. On top of all the technology issues this morning, this is a real frustration. Frustrating market, frustrating technology. Not my morning. And we're getting all the way back up into the highs on that 5-minute chart. I need some semblance of a hope on that 5-minute chart, but I just got, there's nothing there yet. Just slowly melting higher. Mike, that sounds amazing. Get the horse out and go fishing. That sounds awesome. So the bullets, there's two things on the bullets that can help. Volatility is the best, right? If you've got a market that's going up and down and the speed is quick, you know, the getting out of or running out of bullets is a lot less. You have a much easier time not running out of bullets if the market's going up and down. What we're seeing here is just a market that's going straight one direction, right? It's not, it doesn't have the volatility. Occasionally we got a little bit of a volatility move here once. Little bit here twice, a little bit here 3 times. We've had really only 3 chances to like scale out of positions. And so volatility is by far the biggest friend to the process, right? The second thing is that I've got a lot of bullets down here, but they're 0.1 lot size. And what I've been doing is trading much bigger, the 0.5 lot sizes up here. And so right now at this point, I won't need to get all the way down here to get back into profit. So the bigger bullets up here have like shifted my profitability and my break even up. And so again, I need a little volatility. I need that volatility to get these shaken out now, because it's just run too much on those higher bullets. So at this point, I need a reversal and a pullback to help manage the lot sizes. So just keep in mind those two things. You got to get the volatility, or you've got to get or you can use different size, but then you're going to run, if you use larger size, then you're going to run out of margin in the account. All right. I want to see over here on that 5-minute chart where the consolidation puts us. So right in here, this is our, or this, as of right now, this is our consolidation candle. We have to start trading between the low of that candle and the high of that candle, or get a full retracement. Full retracement's not probable at this point. So I'm looking for consolidation. I got a nice stack of trades like right here. That's right here. So there's a good possibility that this stack could get triggered. But really, I'd like to see that start to bounce up and down in this point, at this point. But getting down to here is going to be, if we move into consolidation, getting here is the easy move. Getting here, not easy. So anything below this right now, if I get consolidation and then a turn, then everything above all of this in here is good to go. This is a long shot down here. Does that make sense? So my challenge in this trade, the way that this trade is, I'll put all together, is that this is reasonable, this is reasonable, but anything below, sorry, where is it? So this is reasonable, but anything below here is starting to be the long shot. Does that make sense? So good probability of getting back down to here, not so good probability getting down here. This is going to take, better part of several, maybe an hour, several minutes, up to an hour to get all the way down here, if it can even do it. All of this, it's not even on my radar for, I got to fix all of those trades. That's a lot to fix. So I got to get some volatility up and down so I can start to work off some of those outer edges. But I'm not sure that I can't make the market change. And so I'm gonna have to work with what I've got. And the only thing that really I have that I know that I could get to is time. That's the only thing that I know would eventually work this through. So this is, one of those days where I'm going to be like, okay, probably going to be 1 or 2 o'clock before I get out of these trades. Yeah, John, that's a good observation. Probably one of the best observations of the session. All right. Little breakdown here would be test the low of that 5-minute candle, the 5-minute apex bar. And that could possibly peel off this trade right here. Maybe not. No, not quite. It's just going to get these trades up here. And then once it gets down here and tests the low of that bar, I know it sounds crazy, but I kind of want it to go back up again so I can get that another. I want it to shift into consolidation and volatility. So, I mean, the best thing in this scenario would be, the absolute best thing is for a big, huge candle to just come down all the way down, get all those targets and clear them off the books. But you know what the probability of that is? Pretty small, right? So when that, in the next best scenario, what you're looking for is that you're looking for the speed and the consolidation. Like right now, we've just got a running market. So the next most probable thing is to hope for either consolidation and volatility, more up and down movement, because that can easily help you. I mean, you get that market moving up and down, that puts the wobble into place, that puts, gives you plenty of opportunities to start peeling off these trades down here, which I need to do. So that is more likely than the big candle to the downside. Does that make sense, everybody? So that, that's why I'm saying I don't mind at this point. I don't mind a little bit of that market coming in, pop that market back up. Let me get another stack of those trades on, but I got to have the volatility with it. So it's got to go up and come back down, go back up and come back down, and start to get that up and down movement. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here, not really able to do much because I don't have volatility. So I'm really hoping for volatility. It's really easy to get lose your stuff here. It's really easy, super easy. But you'll find that, having patience and working through it usually produces better than getting frustrated and walking away. Peel off a couple of more of those outside edges. I'm just working on this layer down here first. I'm taking pretty heavy losses on these trades, so look over in history here for just a second, because I want to show you you'll see these like $20 losses. Okay, so here we see the $20 losses on those stops right in there. But then I want to find the profits on the so I'm making $10. I'm making $10 on the win side right now. So when I get a 2-pip win, because I've shifted my lot size, I've got a 2-pip or $10 win for a $20 loss. So I'm going to have to take twice as many wins up in this area to start to compensate for those losses that I'm taking down here. Remember, it's just about balancing everything. So this is why that volatility is so important up here, is because I'm going to have 2 wins for every 1 loss down here to start to work out of these trades. See if we can make a break, one more break lower. So this is a common pullback pattern where you get that slow drift down, you get a move higher, and then you get another leg lower right in here. Come on, just drop back down, grab that whole stack of trades, and then I'm going to get back over here, start doing. Oh, John, man, that's the second greatest thing you've said today. it is the key to successful trading. And this is the hardest thing for people to wrap their heads around, because we're trained to think that you got to be the right direction in the market. We're trained to think that you've got to be, you've got to have big account sizes, you've got to trade big, and you got to be right on those trades. But really, it's not. And John, I think that your statement there, it's all about position size and allocation. I don't know. I don't think that there's a a fund manager out there that has any pretension, like the best of the best, that has any pretension about being, getting the right trade all the time. They're always about positioning and always about size and allocations. And because they know that they can't get it right all the time. And so they have the account, they can allocate that different ways. That's fully within their realm of what they can't control the market, but they can control how much they put on trades and how they allocate. We should see one more little drop lower here. That would be ideal. Maybe not. It may be a little bit hard to get down. But if it can, the volatility would be good, nice. So any kind of up leg, I'm going to be putting positions back on. Looking for that next little leg down, and I'm taking a little bit more risk because I'm adding some positions in here, trying to catch that little a break to the downside. It's got a good, should come all the way down to the lows of that candle, the low of that candle, which puts all of these trades at in play. We still should see another leg up, so you got to be really careful in here. And it is so slow. So slow. Any kind of European holidays or anything is, and then of course the Fed. I mean, the this is more your your big players are out of the market right now. They're not in it. Okay, you're starting to make that little move higher. I'm building those positions in. This market is so slow. All right, that little wick should it gives it a really good chance for making another pop to the high side. So it would have been nice had that market just made a little drop down here, but it's going to be really hard for it to do that at this point. So a little pop up here, maybe up into these highs, maybe up into there, but right here, the bulls are going to run with it for a minute more. Ooh, that was good. Good to see us some seller out there. At some point, all those bulls are going to have to sell off their winnings. You know, they've made a good money. They're going to have to sell it off, close them out. If by chance we can get down here, so important to peel these trades off. So just be ready for that. Peel off a good chunk of these trades down here, because that's you can put them back on again at a different pricing, but definitely want to get out of them. Markets market is not getting down here anytime soon. Come on, right here should be good. If here's the thing, the way that I'm positioned right now, if I can get this stack off, then that'll give me a chance to work out probably a good half of these down here. That'll put me in such a sweet spot for, being able to work with the market the rest of the day. I don't think I'm going to be turning this into profit, without a couple of up and down legs or some volatility, but this will take all the edge off the trade right there. So go through, start to peel these off. Booking those losses, which is no fun, right? We know none of us love to take the losses, especially when they're this big. But something that's got to be done. And remember, I'm going to try and get all that whole stack off the books right here. Oh, I think I'm like, why are they not coming off? And I'm in that next stack. It's because there we go. Okay, so now you can see that we took the pain trade, all the pain off down here. We're left with this stack. This is a long shot. Okay, so not likely to get down there anytime soon, but throughout the day it could work its way down there. The rest of this is, all we need really is the market to make a turn and to make a turn, or even a 50% pullback. So if you look at, if you've got your range here, 50% pullback puts us like right here. So this is all easily within striking distance of a 50% pullback, which is nothing, not hard at all. This would be a little bit more difficult, but I'm going to leave these on. And now at this point, now I really will welcome another run to the high side, not a break. I don't want to break to the high side. So I don't want it to break up above there, but I will welcome another leg to the high side here, because that'll give me a chance. I peeled off more than half the position in that. Fixed, most of the or big chunk of the drawdown was been fixed with that. Ooh, we're gonna get another. Be careful on the leg lower here. You got some support right in here. Let's see if it gets it. It's tricky because it looks like it's going to make a break to the downside, but you got these little support. We're not quite to the support level yet. So that could have a little bit of a bullish tilt to it. Man, it'd be great to come and grab that little stack right in there, but I think that's a long shot. Oh, there is a tail here. Could do it. So if another thing that I could do, another thing that I'm considering doing is taking that entire stack of trades right there. And instead of closing out of them like I did these down here, move those up to like the bottom in here, where it's got a really high probability of getting hit on a pullback, as opposed to here where it's, you know, you're significantly smaller probability. So that's another thing. Another option at this point. Come on, that would be fantastic if you can grab that right there. A little too hopeful. I am throwing a few trades on right in here. Nothing significant, because there is that chance that it could run back up, but it's finding momentum, a little bit more momentum than I was expecting over here. So I could pick up a little bit more. Still in a really high probability zone, you know, given for the day at least, that it's going to get down into the down in there. Ooh, did we get that little move lower? Nice. Keep going. Nope. Spoke too soon. Just slowly moving these kind of right above, right in that area, right in there. Get this little platform break, so should get, you know, a good decent sized candle. The breakdown candles are, you know, something like that. So a good breakdown candle here should push in the bottom of that area right in there. So so that's why I'm adjusting these down into the bottom third of that little area. Right there. That little extra money will go a long ways in helping to compensate for the losses. Picked up a few of the targets there. About 9 lots, which is good. The support is clear here. We've got wick here, but really support is down here. So all of this is still in play. It's another reason why that is still in play and this is not. It's because it's below where that I would expect to see some support really come in right in that area, which is right around the 50% line, which is, you know, we'll start to put a couple trades back on. Volatility, we don't have volatility. We march straight up, we're marching straight down. We really haven't had a chance to add positions. We've added, but it's been just barely, not a real good place where I felt like I could really sink my teeth into yet. So this lack of volatility is continuing on this down leg. And I don't want to get trades below that white line, because there's a really good reason for a bounce here. We could go into some longs and see if we could catch an up leg here. See if those buyers are gonna, step in with as much force as they had before. It's likely. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of longs in and see just a long to see if I can, where it puts us. Get it underneath here is good. Anything above there is going to be a lower probability, but ideally you want it, it's just not enough room. But ideally you want that trade underneath all that price coordination right in there. So if you're going to go with the longs, we need a little bit. We just don't have enough room to really get a good solid long position on. Don't have enough room to get a good solid short position. That's the part of that problem with the lack of volatility. Bad feel on that one. Yeah, Megan, you got to make sure that it's not a it's not a real high probability trade. So it's like, but in my mind, what I'm doing is I'm like, if I can put a small position of longs in, if I get a small position in longs here, and it does drop back down, how far down does it go before it starts to find support and has an up leg? That's what I'm thinking, right? So if I do get some longs in here and it drops and takes these out and I put some more longs in, I've got targets down here and it drops another leg and comes down here and then I got targets in here. Well, I can easily manage those targets as long as it doesn't break down through here. If it does break down through here, I've got all of these longs, so I still should be balanced out. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm like within striking distance of what I need to, where I need to be. And since we don't have volatility on a day like today, it makes it really hard, like really tough. There's a long should come in, and I want to get my short stack on. Not super heavy here. Don't go heavy, because you've got an up leg at risk, right? Big long down leg. Buyers are fresh. They've got untapped resources. So just be really careful about building your position here, because you could easily, like the market was really strong to the bull side, it could go equally strong to the bull side here. Should see some more bull price behavior. So I'm going to keep it right here. I was at 21 before, so I'm going to build up to about 40 right in here. So now if I can get this stack, all of these trades up all the way down to that white line, I should be down to around under the 20 mark. And all of that profit. So to be down, if I can get it down there, to be at about 20 lot size, under 20 lot size with losses, that's easy to, much easier to fix. I shouldn't say easy to fix, much easier to fix. But we got to get down there still. And if you're waiting and you're like, I don't know what to do, good place to just pull that whole stack up, so that's above that. I'll put the line in. You want to get that stack up above there. So, I mean, there is a chance it can, there is a chance it could keep going lower, but it's not a chance I really want to risk. it's already going to be a long shot to get down there with as much bullish behavior as we've had today. It's still going to be a long shot to get down here. Been picking off a little bit of the profit on that little leg down. Nothing super significant, but a little bit here helps, a little bit there helps. On days like today, yeah, I mean, break even is not a bad thing. And it's important that you get to break even. Like, that's a huge milestone, right? For account size, for your account health. The value of getting back to zero is just phenomenal. In the long run, because it's like you don't have to work from a negative position tomorrow. Guys, we're doing fantastic right now. Yeah, 13 positions left. At this point, we've recouped, most of the losing position. We haven't recouped what we made earlier, but to close the day out with a 1.7% return, just like, man, I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. So I'm just peeling off slowly, coming down to the last of these here. And I'll just close it out. So at this point, I think we started out at about 2 just shy of 2% for the day. Or maybe just over 2%. I can't remember where it was at the beginning. Somewhere right around 2%. So we've been able to, we took a pretty big drawdown, lived through a really, really significant move against us. And so to be back at break even has got that's a good thing. So if you look at where we were when we started, clear back down into in this area, looking for that market to continue rolling back, and then it just went straight up. To be about break even up here is, it's a good thing. Like, you can't be disappointed with that at all. Now, you could continue to trade and work through another position and whatever, but there's just not enough volatility to give me any kind of desire to do that this morning. I don't even want to try it. So anyway, that was a rough one. no volatility in those moves that we all know that those pressing marching moves without any kind of pullbacks really make trading tough. So flipped all the way into fix it mode during the session. So setup was good, setup failed, we're in fix it mode. And fortunately, just through the balancing process that we talk about so much, is we're able to work through that and process once again, was our saving grace in this process in today's trading session. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks, traders. Good lesson. Good, go back and watch this at 2x speed. Watch the disaster build up and then watch the fix. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.